It was a Friday night, quiet and chilly. I was home alone in our little suburban house. White picket fence, cracked driveway, the usual. My parents were out of town for the weekend, some anniversary trip, and I was stoked to have the place to myself. I was on the couch, TV blasting a horror movie, munching popcorn, the glow flickering across the living room. Outside, the street was dead, no cars, no kids, just the hum of crickets and the occasional rustle of leaves. Felt like a normal night, until it didn't. I first noticed something off when the movie hit a quiet scene. A faint tapping came from the back door, soft but steady, like someone drumming their fingers. I muted the TV, ears straining. Tap tap tap. I figured it was a branch or maybe the wind knocking something around. Our backyard's fenced in, backs up to the neighbor's place. An old guy who kept to himself, always out tinkering in his shed. I shrugged it off, hit play, and sank back into the couch. But then I heard it, a low whistle, short and sharp, like someone calling a dog. It wasn't from the TV. My stomach did a little flip. I grabbed the remote, pausing the movie, and listened hard. The whistle came again, closer now, right outside the back door. My heart picked up, thudding against my ribs. I told myself it was nothing, maybe the neighbor chasing his cat or something dumb. But it was late, past 11, and he never came near our yard. I stood up, popcorn spilling on the floor, and crept to the kitchen, flipping on the porch light. The tapping stopped, but the whistle lingered, fading into the dark. I peeked through the blinds, nothing but the empty deck, the fence, and his shed in the distance, its little window glowing faintly yellow. Weird, but not enough to freak out, right? I locked the door, double-checked it, and went back to the couch, cranking the volume to drown out my nerves. Then the phone rang, the house line, not my cell. It was an old rotary thing my parents kept for emergencies, and it never rang. I froze, staring at it from across the room as it jangled loud in the silence. I let it ring out, heart pounding, until it stopped. No voicemail, just quiet. I laughed, shaky, telling myself it was a wrong number. But then it rang again, insistent, like it knew I was ignoring it. I picked it up, hand trembling, and said, "Hello?" A crackle of static, then a voice, gruff, low, too calm. "You're home alone tonight, huh?" My mouth went dry. It was him, the neighbor. I'd heard him yell at his TV through the fence enough times to know that gravelly tone. I slammed the phone down, backing away like it'd bite me. The room felt smaller, the air thicker, and I caught a whiff of something, motor oil and stale beer, faint but real, drifting in from somewhere. I checked the back door again, still locked, but the blinds were crooked now, like someone had pushed them aside. My dog, a lazy mutt who slept through everything, growled low from his bed, eyes locked on the window. I grabbed a kitchen knife, clutching it tight, and whispered, "It's fine, just a creep." But I wasn't so sure. I tried to chill out, telling myself he was just messing with me, a bad joke from a lonely old guy. I'd tell my parents later, maybe even the cops if it got weird again. I sat back down, knife on the cushion, and unpaused the movie, turning it up loud. But halfway through a scream on screen, the power cut out, TV dead, lights off, just the hum of the fridge dying mid-breath. My dog barked, sharp and panicked, and I heard it, the whistle again, right outside the living room window. I grabbed my phone, flashlight app on, and shone it at the glass. Nothing there, just my reflection, pale and wide-eyed. But the smell hit me harder, oil, beer, and something sour, like wet clothes left too long. The blinds rattled, just a twitch, and I swear I saw a shadow dart past, too fast to be sure. My dog went nuts, barking and pacing, and the voice came through the glass, muffled but clear. "I see you in there. Open up." That's when I lost it. I needed proof, something to show this wasn't in my head. I switched my phone to video, hands shaking so bad the light jumped around, and aimed it at the window. "Say it again, you freak," I hissed, barely audible. Silence. Then a slow, deliberate tap on the glass, followed by that voice, "You're all alone. I've been watching." A thud hit the wall, like a fist, and the blinds swung hard, clattering against the frame. I stopped recording, played it back, static, my breathing, and there it was, his voice, faint but unmistakable, with the taps and thuds loud and clear. My chest tightened. This wasn't a prank, he was out there, right now. I ran to the kitchen, knife in one hand, phone in the other, and dialed 911. The line crackled, then died. No bars, no signal, even though I'd had full service all night. The tapping spread, back door, front window, side of the house, like he was circling me. I crouched behind the couch, flashlight off, trying to breathe quiet. My dog whimpered, pressing against me, and the smell got so strong I gagged, oil and rot, seeping through the walls. The voice came again, from the front porch now, "I've waited long enough. You're mine tonight." It wasn't just creepy, it was possessive, like he'd planned this. I remembered little things then, his shed light on at weird hours, the way he'd stare over the fence when I mowed the lawn, how he'd asked my parents once, casual as anything, when they'd be out of town. I crawled to the basement door, thinking I could hide down there, lock it behind me. But as I opened it, I saw it. A muddy footprint on the stairs, fresh, too big to be mine, leading down into the dark. My blood ran cold. He'd been inside already, maybe for days, weeks, sneaking in through the old coal chute we never locked. I slammed the door shut, shoved a chair under the knob, and heard a creak from below, slow and deliberate, like he was coming up. The cops wouldn't come fast enough, even if I could call. I grabbed a hammer from the kitchen drawer, ditched the knife, and hid in the pantry, door cracked just enough to see. The basement door rattled, the chair scraping as it slid, and his voice hissed through, "I know where you are." My phone buzzed, dead battery, but a text popped up anyway, "No sender, look behind you." I didn't turn, I couldn't, but the pantry smelled like him now, and something cold brushed my neck. I bolted, hammer swinging, and ran for the front door, fumbling the lock with sweaty hands. The basement door banged open behind me, footsteps heavy and fast. I threw the door wide, stumbled into the yard, and didn't stop until I hit the street, screaming for anyone to hear. A neighbor's light flicked on, and I pounded on their door, sobbing, until they let me in. The cops came, searched the house, found the chute pried open, muddy prints everywhere, and a stash in the basement, photos of me, my family, taken from outside, some through my bedroom window at night. They caught him 2 days later, hiding in his shed, reeking of oil and beer, grinning like he'd won something. He'd been obsessed, living off scraps, tunneling into our lives for months. Said the house was his territory, that I belonged there with him. We moved out fast, didn't even pack everything, just left. The new place is an apartment, high up, no yards, no neighbors too close. But I still wake up to tapping some nights, faint and far off, and I check every lock twice, wondering if he's really gone, or if he's still watching from somewhere I can't see.